मेरे साथ है आशय अभी इस टाइम और ये यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं पीएचडी इन FAU यूनिवर्सिटी. सो कैन यू इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ?
Hi, so I'm Ashay and मैं यहाँ पे जर्मनी में हूँ अभी since 2018 and अभी मैं यहाँ पे फिजिक्स में PhD कर रहा हूँ FAU में.
आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है?
मैं बैकग्राउंड में इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हूँ. इंडिया में मुंबई में मैंने बैचलर्स किया मेरा and then I applied to a master's course in electrical engineering Germany में in 2017 and 2018 में मैं यहाँ पे आया winter semester 2018 में at the border of 18 and 19. And for the first 2 years मैंने electrical engineering में masters किया and then during that time I fell in love with physics, so I decided कि मुझे physics में career करना है and then I switched to physics and did another masters in physics in Germany again, but in a different university. So earlier I was in a university called Offenburg University and now I'm in Erlangen, and then I did a masters for 2 years here and then I started my PhD in theoretical physics here.
सो मतलब बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है तुम्हारा कि मतलब तुम पहला मास्टर्स करे एंड देन तुमने सेकंड मास्टर्स किया. तो फॉर द सेकंड मास्टर्स, जैसे किसी को अगर करना हो सेकंड मास्टर्स, तो उसके लिए क्या मतलब फर्स्ट मास्टर्स इज इजी, आप कर सकते हो डायरेक्टली, आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स देख लो डार्ट वेबसाइट से क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है फुलफिल कर दो. बट फॉर द सेकंड मास्टर जो मतलब चाहते हैं कि यार हम कुछ और भी पढ़ लेते हैं, वी हैव दैट एनर्जी टू लर्न, सो उसके लिए क्या प्रोसेस है आपको सेकंड मास्टर्स करने के लिए?
So the process I would say is almost the same first masters करने के लिए जो process है. It's actually a bit easier I would say because if you're already here तो फिर all the requirements जो तुम्हें चाहिए to enter Germany वो already तुम्हारे पास है. So all you need to do is university के requirements fulfill करना. So you essentially are in competition with other Germans, not with other non-Germans. The application process for me was very straightforward. So I came to Erlangen for my master thesis of my earlier masters, and then once I was here, I realized that this is a great place to do a physics masters because यहाँ का physics program is one of the strongest in my field, or my interest field. So I just applied here, and in general, for some courses, because there is it's high, or universities want to promote that, they encourage no fixed number of master students, so you could apply. So मैंने apply किया यहाँ पे. I just wrote informal letters to people in the department, and they just wrote back to me, okay, just apply, and I applied and I got it.
And what was your percentage in your first masters? Like I think somewhere percentage also play a role, right?
I guess so. So यहाँ पे the German grading system is 1.0 to 5.0 and 4.0 is the passing percentage. So I had a 1.0 in the first masters.
And guys, 1.0 means you are topper, okay? So 1.10 means topper and 4 means you are satisfactory, pass on the borderline.
So I think it does matter, but so typically beyond a certain score, so I would say that score is something like 2.3. It doesn't really matter. So if you have a 1.7 or a 1.0, I don't think that makes it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter much. Like if you are above 2.3 or 2, it's good.
Exactly.
You're good. You're good. But if you are going below like 2.5 till 3, okay, yeah,
then
better not
to evaluate it more. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so then the second masters is done, and after that you started with the PhD. What was the process for the PhD?
So I would classify the processes for applying for a PhD into there are two stages when you apply for a PhD.
Okay.
One is choosing and applying for a position, and the second is your monetary remuneration that you get from the PhD. The first stage is simply, there are two ways. One is you have either an official posting for a PhD position at some university, department or something. For that, unfortunately, there's no single place you can look. So you have to, let's say I want to do a PhD in chemistry or in a specific field. So I know which departments exist. I go on their websites, I look for positions and I apply for those officially. Or for that matter in Max Planck or for Fraunhofer or with companies. The second way is just write to the professors, even if there is no job posting, and I would say the second way is the more easy and the better bang for buck way. So you essentially write to professors, and if they have positions, they invite you for an interview. So that's what happened with me. So I knew that there's this professor I want to do my PhD with because it's in the field I want, and so I just wrote to that professor. Then we met, we discussed some things, then and then you get the position.
Yeah, actually, I think the thing is, in Germany, professors want PhD students, but the
Exactly.
problem is they don't have much German students who are interested to do PhD, because this is more like your own research. You are doing yourself. You're doing the research on your own. You have your own motivation to do the things, and it comes from you only. It's not something like teacher will tell you like, now do
Exactly.
this or do that. This is not PhD.
There are many a times it happens that you write to a professor when you want to do a PhD. And the way you write matters a bit. So if you just write, for example, I'm blah blah blah, I'm looking for a PhD in blah blah blah, and do you have a position? That's not that effective.
Okay.
But you would it would be advisable to actually also give some ideas and some things that you are interested in. Show some passion in your, because so I approached my professor and I also proposed a project along with that. So then it was, the professor can say, okay, he already has some introduction to this, he's motivated, he has some interest in this, and it's a better person to go with rather than someone who just writes for an open position. So this is the application part, and then comes the funding part, is what I would like to also add. So there are two kinds of fundings that you can get. One is you can either get into a contract with the university, and the second is you can bring your own money. So when I say bring your own money, it means you apply for a research grant foundation or a scholarship foundation, and then once you get it, you can take that money with you wherever you go. So in my field, because I was forced to go the second way, so I had to apply for funding myself. And but if you're lucky in your field, you also get just university
Grants from the
positions,
university also,
which makes it easier.
So yeah, because sometimes university do open the PhD positions, and then you can apply for it, because university do have funds for you. It's just you should be keep looking and actively looking. You just don't stick to one university like this is where I want to go. Germany is open for you. Just try to each and every university where your interest lies actually. And as you said that you applied for your own fundings. So which funding did you apply for?
So in Germany there are a few. It's called Stiftungs. So you can apply for foundations. It translates to foundations. And there are two types of foundations. They could be either politically affiliated. So political parties have their own foundations which sponsor research and PhD positions, or they can be non-politically affiliated, so academic or religious foundations like the Evangelist Group and so on. So I applied for one political foundation, which is the it was one of the 7 Begabtenförderung, and also applied for Studienstiftung, and I was lucky to get both, so I had the choice. And then I went with the Studienstiftung.
And regarding this, actually not everybody knows about the the stipendium that you can get from the political parties. Actually, this is very new also, that I learned some days before only, and that you can get that. But I think this is only applicable to someone who is already living here. You cannot, somebody who is coming from third world cannot directly apply for those.
Actually, that's a myth.
Okay.
So it depends. Different foundations have different rules for this, but there are certain foundations which you can just go on the website and check, and some foundations also support people from abroad.
Oh, that's
directly.
Cool. Oh, that's nice.
And for people from abroad, there are actually some specific dedicated foundations as well. For example, the DART Foundation has also grants for that. So yes, not all the options are available, but there exist a few options which are available.
And how much do you earn per month from this scholarship?
So for all the foundations, it's a Germany-wide regulation that you can only earn some amount. So this year the amount is 1,650 euros, plus some foundations give €100 additional allowance for health insurance or research allowance and so on. Next year it's going to be increasing by 100, and every year it's increasing by 100.
So basically based on inflation it will increase.
Right.
Yeah.
So so not with the same, but there's a phase shift between it increasing and inflation. So for example, during the 3 COVID years it did not change at all.
Okay.
But then it started changing. So this is the base salary, and then so for my case, I also get an additional allowance for my research from the Studienstiftung, and plus there are some other programs. In total, I get paid very similar to what an entry-level IT engineer would be paid. So on an average after taxes, something like 3,000.
That's good. Yeah, actually, on an average, I think PhD students do earn overall in Germany around about the same salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and the last thing is, what advice would you like to give to the students who want to apply for PhD?
So in recent times, in fact, I've been thinking about this a lot. I think it's very important to just focus on what your likings are. So especially one has to consider that a PhD is your baby. You can manipulate your PhD topic, your research the way you want, and you don't need to be pressured by what you think others want. And while doing your PhD, I would also recommend you to have some other hobby, I would say, because I mean, this is not just a life advice as such, but especially when it comes to your resume, if you want to continue your career in academia, you will have to rely on grant applications in the future. So for your postdoc, you'll have to apply for a grant to some research organization. And typically these grant organizations like to see that you're a multifaceted person. So you need to not just 100% focus on your PhD, but have some at least 20-30% time doing something constructive outside your PhD.
So yeah, that's it guys. Thank you. And I hope all the best and see you then. Bye.
See you.